Welcome to John's Jeep Garage. This video is how to install hood hinges on a Jeep Wrangler TJ.
Welcome! Today on a 1998 TJ, and with all TJs, we're going to be replacing the hood hinges. We're going to show you in this video how to, one, disconnect the hinges, the type of hinges that we purchased to reinstall. In doing so, you're going to remove your cowling. Once you're inside the cowling, there may be some maintenance checkup points that you want to pay attention to. We're going to install the new hinges, and then we're going to put everything back together. Okay, there is a very important safety feature I want to talk about before we start, which is disconnecting the negative side of the battery terminal, and we'll tell you why. Thank you for watching. Before we start this job, let me show you something here. This edge of the hood is made out of metal. When we pull this hood back in our project, this metal could shift around. This is the positive side of the battery. You don't want it to connect to the positive side of the battery and then create a short or hazard. So the best way to do it before you start this job, and not many people will tell you this, remove and disconnect the negative terminal. Once we do that, we can follow the process. Once it's over, reconnect it. So you have the hood hinge, the hood on the TJ, and if you look closely, try to get a zoom up here, you see the heads of the pins are missing. And you may find that you end up having some of these missing, but after a period of time, your original hood hinges are going to wear. And depending on how you drive off-road, the type of impact and vibration your hood may have, it can also cause shearing or these pins to come apart, especially some of these aftermarket cheaper hinges. So today we're going to show you how to replace these hinges, and I'm going to show you the particular type I bought, and we'll go from here. Thank you. Okay, so I bought the Rugged Ridge OMIX hood hinge set. This also is for 97 to 2006 TJ. I got the black ones because I have the black hood, and average price is going to somewhere between $35 $37. I got them from Quadratech. There's other vendors that sell them, but this is the particular one I got. All right, thank you. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is going to remove the hinge face from the hood. With this particular set that's on this hood, it's going to require a 3/16 Allen. It may be a different head that you will need a different type of tool on the one that you are removing. So start off manually using the Allen. Do the same thing to the other side. And you can see this was already taken apart or broken apart where the pin came out. One of the reasons I'm replacing it. And I'm lifting the hood. I'm just gonna pull it out to that point. Okay, so we've separated the hood. Now I got to get to the hinge bracket itself. So there's a couple steps that you have to do. You have to remove the cowling, and to do that, you're going to have to take your windshield wiper arms off on both sides. Okay, the first thing to do to remove a wiper arm is you have to pull it up like this. It actually releases tension on this spring that's in there, and there's a little clip that you have to pull out. Now I'm going to show you a close-up view after it's removed to help explain, but you're going to pull the clip off, and then you're going to pull your arm off of this little shaft with a spline on it. Let's look at the details. So what you have is you have the wiper arm itself secured over this spline or knurled shaft, and it's held on there by a little clip that goes at the base. So when you pull it out, you see it's free and clear, but when you push this back in after you put it back on, this prevents it from coming off and it secures it. So we're going to do the same thing to the other arm, and then we'll remove the bolts holding our cowling. One thing I want to mention, so I pulled it down and I pulled this off, and it looks easy, but sometimes, especially if you haven't removed it in a while, it sticks. So the first thing is make sure you pull that slide out so it clears everything. But then if it's on there and it won't come off, take your hand like this, just slowly work it back and forth just a little bit, because there's a slight taper right here, but it will pull out. You don't want to break it, but you want to give it a little bit of a wiggle so that you can pull it out, okay? Okay, so I'm going all the way across and removing these screw heads holding on the top part of the cowling. And you should find 4 of them go along all the way across, 1 on the center of the vent, and then you'll see, we'll worry about the bolts on the front edge afterwards. So let me just start here. You can see more of a machine screw, and then we'll take the rest off the top. Now, on both ends of the cowling, there's a fastener, and for this particular Jeep, it looks like it has a bolt head on this one, and on the other end, same position, it's a screw head. So whatever the type of fastener there is, just use the right tool to remove it. You just have those 2, and then we're going to remove the cowling. Make sure you pull this rubber cowling gasket, hood gasket back, and of course the size of this bolt is our famous 10 millimeter. So get the 10 millimeter in there. This one's old and rusty. We'll go to the other side. So here on this particular Jeep, on the driver's side, I have the Phillips. Just gonna loosen that up, remove it, and then now we're in position to remove the entire cowling. Okay, so just wanna lift up front edge, work my back edge over the windshield wiper arm shafts, and then remove the cowling out of the way. And then I can get to the 2 fasteners that are holding on this hinge bracket. Same on the other side. Let's take a look. So on the passenger side, it's just some 2 brackets right there. We'll remove it. This is the cabin air intake, so the foam that's around there, and we'll remove it. While I'm in here though, just a personal note, I like to inspect the windshield wiper motor. I like to inspect for any debris. One of our very first videos this channel made was how to remove the cowling and how to clean this. Sometimes you'll find that this has been clogged up. Again, a 98 Jeep Wrangler TJ, but I do go ahead and spray some lubricant on this windshield wiper arm motor mechanisms, the arms and the swivel points, just to keep it lubricated. I'm not using anything fancy, just WD-40. Just liberally applying it at any of the connection points. And this on the main connection. And again, I'm just liberally applying it. Something I always do, I want to show you a close-up. If you look, remember these are 1998, 2000, any of the TJs are old, but where these fasteners are secured to, there's these little clips, and when you remove it, sometimes those clips can move. So make sure they're back in position so it's easier. Here's that bridge, the one above the vent. Make sure it's back in position, and do the same for the other side. We're going to take this Allen wrench and remove these again.
Now let's go to the passenger side.
I've already loosened these. Okay, so I'm going to take the new brackets and hinges, and comes with all the fasteners, and I'm just going to put it on in reverse order. And to remind you kind of the orientation, when you look at this, you want to have the curve going up and fastened this way. Obviously, this way will not work. This way will not work. So again, flat part down, back end of the curve going up. So when you buy your parts, it's going to come with washers. It's going to come with nuts, and it's going to come with the bolts themselves with the Allen head on this particular one. You don't need the nuts when you're looking at fastening them. It's slots that already have the threads. So you will just be using the nut and the washer to fasten them on. Excuse me, the bolt and the washer to fasten them on. The nuts you can just set aside. Don't tighten one all the way down. Make sure you've been able to put it in to each slot first before you tighten them. And then one more thing, in those threaded holes, I did add a little WD-40 in those as well, just to help protect it and give it some lubrication. Don't over tighten, but make sure you have a snug fit. Just using the Allen. Same thing on this one. Careful again not to hurt the foam. I'm pushing, just doing a hand tighten right now, but I'm pushing it all the way back towards the window. And then I'm going to just hand tighten both of them real quick. Definitely want to make sure you don't over tighten to break it, but you want to make sure it's tight enough where you don't have any hood rattling. Just before I put the hood cowling back on, I am going to just wipe up any, it's had time to sit, any excess WD-40. Even though we are spraying liberally and it is in the housing, it could drain out, and just do our best to protect the environment as we finish this job. Now we're going to put the cowling back on, and then we're going to line up the hood. Okay, I have the hinges laying towards the front. We're going to put the cowling back in reverse order. The first thing I do is I line up to the arms or the shafts for the wiper arms, so it gives us a good position. And then I push back. Now, the next thing is this rubber gasket. I just need to make sure it's pulled forward in the front so this can seat. Sometimes it's almost better to have like a little flathead screwdriver to kind of pull it forward. You want it on the outside versus on the inside, so the metal is on the inside. Let's put all the screws back on. Start with the one in the center. Now remember, you've already, before you put the cowling on, checked each one of the little fastener positions, the clips, to make sure they were centered back to the hole. Without you having to go through the whole video, I'm just going to put it back through just like we did in reverse order. The two fasteners on the end and these 4 screws on the top. Okay?
After we tighten everything, let's put back on the wiper arms.
So I usually push this here. I push it straight for now to just try to get a general position on where I'm going to put that wiper arm, because you want the blade to be sitting just at the bottom edge of the glass. Okay, so once I determine that angle, I'm going to make sure that slide is out, pulled out, so that this hole is free of any obstruction. Slide it back in, kind of guessing that angle. There, exactly where I want it. And then I'm going to push that clip in. Sorry, you got to keep it up when you push the clip in.
Now for the driver's side arm, line it up and then put it on a right angle so that you can put the little clip back in, and there you go.
Okay, so you got to slide your hood forward. Your hood latch is going to be in front of the grill since you pulled it out. You had to lift up the front to pull it out. In this case, we're going to have to lift up the front to slide it forward, making sure that the edge of the hood is in its proper place. Truthfully, this is a two-person job, so you can get the alignment, but if you shift it like an inch at a time on each side, you can get it there as well. We'll do that. So lifting up the front. Once I lifted up the front, I slid it forward. Now I'm going to line up the holes and put the fasteners in. And remember, on this 1998 TJ, there's a little bracket, so you wanted to make sure all these holes were lined up. Now that I got two of them in place, it lines up, but if it's loose on the underside of the hood, you just have to make sure it's lined up so that these fasteners secure. I'm just loosely tightening these so you can almost, so they still have a little wiggle room in it while I fasten the other side. Sometimes it's easier to just move and line up the holes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fasten this one first to kind of pull it up, and then I'll shift this one over, but I won't tighten it all the way. Okay, now that I have all of them kind of generally tightened down, let's go ahead and tighten them all the way, and we'll go to the next steps. Again, I'm not applying any torque. I'm just using the long arm of the Allen wrench, making sure these are all have a snug fit. Okay, now that everything's tightened, go ahead and make sure everything fits correctly. Then what I do, I just inspect to make sure nothing was pulled out. Okay, everything looks good on the underside. Remember to connect your negative terminal back on your battery, and then you should be good to go. Thank you for watching. Hey, that's it. Hinges are on. We're ready to go. Everything's lined back up. We connected the battery again. We did it safely, and I feel good. Thank you for watching. Hey, if you haven't subscribed, please do. We have a lot of good videos and more to come. Thank you.